Lisa for hosting, and thank you all for being here. I see some newer names, and some familiar ones. I'll just say a little bit about our practice today. We are going to be doing most of everything we can on the mat, but there is an option to also do many of the exercises in a chair as well. So there's some options, and our practice today is honoring the new moon, which is actually today, and it's a nice opportunity to connect to like new beginnings, new intentions. Also, we're starting a new month, and all of the practices today are all based on the circle, like the moon. So I'm kind of excited to get us into very circular movement with everything we do today. But yeah, if haven't been to any of my classes, I invite you to check out my website, yogamigraine.com, and I have a Yoga for Migraine Facebook group as well, where every Wednesday I go live with a free yoga class, wellness talks. So I'll try to put that in the chat a little bit later too. And I am for Black Friday after Thanksgiving, I'm having a huge sale, so get on my list somehow through yogamigraine.com to get wind of all the goodies that are coming after Thanksgiving. So enough talk, let's come to our mat or chair. And if you are seated on your mat, you're welcome to bring a couple blankets or pillows under you so you feel stable, or even just folding your mat can give a little bit more cushion here. And settling into wherever you're seated, in a chair, on the mat, lift those shoulders, roll back and down, and just find your center here. So you can shift the weight side to side, front and back. Do that another round, side to side, front to back, and then find a still point where your weight feels even. You feel like your head is lifting towards the sky, and if you do feel like you're kind of rounded here, definitely prop yourself up with some more cushions or pillows underneath you. And close your eyes if you'd like, or find one point to gaze at. And listen inward. Ask yourself, what do you need? Could be simple as a hot shower, or something deeper as I need space, I need support. And let's turn that need and desire into our intention for this new moon, this new month, of what we would like to turn our focus on to help grow and nurture. So if you need support, for example, your intention can be, I am deeply supported. Stating it as something that's already happening, that you're feeling, that you want to grow, and really turn your attention to be always looking for that, always looking for the ways you are feeling supported. And then we can bring our hands to our hearts, and starting with the flow of our arms, inhaling the arms up, maybe looking up at the hands if that feels good, and then drawing it back down to the heart. Inhale, arms up, looking forward or keeping the gaze straight ahead. Let's do that a couple more rounds. Inhale, and draw it in. Last one, inhale, arms up. Exhale, draw it in. And now lowering the hands to the thighs, we'll rotate our torso around the hips here. Going as far forward and back as you can, feeling the weight shift from one sit bone to the other. And this practice will be great for bringing some more circulation to the body and opening up any stuck areas. Let's reverse that circle now. Since we are doing a lot of circular movement, if at any time you feel a little bit dizzy, feel free to make the circle smaller and to really keep your gaze at one spot rather than kind of letting the head and eyes go all over the place. Let's do one more big circle like that. And take it back to center. This time shoulder circles. Inhale and then exhale, squeeze it back and down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze it back and down. You can sigh it out the mouth if that feels good. On the exhale, inhaling and exhale down. One more like that. And now let's reverse it. So we'll squeeze the shoulders back up to the ears, roll it forward. And with these circles, we're isolating the shoulders. So the arms and hands don't need to help. Kind of just letting the hands and arms be relaxed, like they're just coming along for the ride, while the shoulders really get in there. And let's do one more forward. Good. Next, we're going to take it back one at a time. So just alternating. Just loose here. If you want, you can go a little side to side. Keep it fluid. And then reverse that one at a time forward. Often feels a little more awkward. Maybe you want to go side to side. Just feel free to be intuitive with it. Good. And then roll it back and down. This time, let's lean back and just change the cross of the legs in case the legs are getting tired in that position. And we're going to interlace the fingers, push the sky away. Actually lift the shoulders. So this is kind of where we want to avoid, and now draw the shoulders back and down. And that's where we want to stay. So your neck has lots of room here. And we're going to imagine that we're drawing circles on the ceiling above us with our hands. So you'll feel that rib cage rolling around a little bit. You're like a little spinning top here with the arms. I find this really effective in just getting into all the nooks and crannies of the upper back. And let's reverse it. See if you can keep your arms straight-ish. It's going to look different for everybody. Now let's do one more that way. Good. And then exhale slowly. Let the arms float down. And now we'll do some neck circles. So you have options. You can do full circles, which I'll lead you through, or if you prefer, you can do little pendulum swings where your chin goes to the chest and you're just going to be rocking the chin from one side to the other. So you can choose. But let's all start with chin towards the chest, any amount. And then if you're doing the full roll, let's bring the right ear to the right shoulder. As you come to the back, lift up so you're not totally letting the head relax back. Now left ear to left shoulder and back to chest. So go ahead and do two more like that. I want you to take it as slow as you'd like. And you can integrate the breath, inhaling on the way up. And exhaling on the way down. And let's have everybody meet chin to chest when they finished. And let's reverse. So this time left ear to shoulder, lifting all the way up and back. Right ear to the shoulder and back to center. 2 more like that on your own, or if you are working on the pendulum swing, you're just alternating one shoulder and then the other. And then everybody meeting chin to chest. One hand to the forehead, push your head on back. So now we're going to come into a tabletop position, and if you are in your chair, you can do something similar, just kind of bringing your hands to your thighs. But if you're on your mat, we will come into tabletop. If your wrists feel a little bit sensitive here, you have options to make fists with your hands, keeping your wrists straight. Or even if you had a chair or a couple blocks, you can kind of brace yourself that way. So let's come into some barrel rolls with our rib cage here. So we're going to make our rib cage kind of go in like a clock, that motion around the clock. So you're going to kind of let the ribs hang, and then you're going to pull it up and around. So it might take a little bit to get the movement with it, but this is this, up and down circle, like you're drawing a circle around a clock on the wall in front of you. Definitely a little different than our typical cat and cow here. Let's do one more that way. And relax. And now let's try the other direction. Lift up, rounding the spine, and then dropping the belly on the way down. There's no perfect way to do this. It's just feeling it out, feeling the circles, feeling the circulation. And then one more like that. And come back to a neutral spine. We'll go into kind of an exaggerated cat-cow now. So as we inhale, the head lifts slightly, the tailbone lifts. As we exhale, we're rounding the spine, looking down, and then the hips come to the heels like a child's pose. Inhale, bend the elbows, pull through for cow. Exhale, round the spine, pull the hips back to the heels, cat and child's pose. Keep flowing with that. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhale, let it crash like a wave down. Good. 2 more like that. Inhaling, feeling that rolling motion through the spine. And let's do one more. Let's all end up in child's pose here. And you can walk your hands out. Open up the knees wide. Rest here. And now we'll have one more in this tabletop position. So bringing the knees back to hip distant, hands right under shoulders. We'll take the left arm forward, up to the sky. Maybe you look at it, and then hips to heels, pull it back. So we're kind of tracing with the hand a huge circle up to the sky, to the side wall, and along the floor. Opening up as much as feels good. Let's do 2 more that way. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, and exhale. And let's go to the other side. So right hands forward. Inhale, lift up, look to the sky. hand travels back, hips to heels. And then drag the hand forward again. Inhale, up to the sky. Exhale back. Inhale, pull through. Beautiful. Exhale back. Inhale, draw the right arm up to the sky. Pull it all the way back. And we'll do one more. Inhale. And exhale back. Return to tabletop, and to relax those wrists, we're actually just going to draw the weight around in little circles around the wrists. So it'll be kind of subtle, but it's just the idea of making little clockwise circles, just moving the weight around the wrist to the front, to the side, to the back. And let's reverse that. So let's come side, forward, back. Little tiny circles here. Simply shifting your weight like you're orbiting your wrist joint. Good. And relax. We'll come into a squat here. So this is going to look different for everybody. One way you can do it is tucking the toes and walking yourself back and coming into squat. But for many people, that is not quite there yet. So you can fold your mat over to give a little bit of height if your heels don't just touch the ground yet. You can even, if you have a pillow or a block nearby, you can also sit on that. So find something that might work for you right now. And if you're in your chair, you can also bring your knees out and sit. So in your squat here, as much as you can get into something similar, we're just going to move our weights around the ankle joint now. So we're going to go to the side, front, side, and back. Just orbiting around that ankle. Very subtle, and then reverse it. Feeling the weight coming forward, side, back, and side. And relax. And to get into a circular movement in the hip and torso, we're going to walk our hands behind us and then walk it back in front. So this helps shift some of our weight, gets into the hips a little bit. Just have fun with it if it's not all coming together perfectly. And let's reverse that. So we're going to come to the back, back, front, front, back, back, front, front. Last one, back, back, front, front. And from here, we're going to sit on down. Maybe you can bring it down from there. Maybe you clunk down. Maybe you find some other way. But we'll take the legs out in front. And we'll bring the legs a little bit wider than the hips for a pose called Churn the Mill. We just came out, through Halloween, so I like to think of, I saw something in the chat, but I missed it. So this is like, I imagine the witch kind of stirring a cauldron here. So you get your huge giant spoon, and we're gonna shift to the left, reach towards the toes as much as you can, to the right, and then on your way back, pull back any amount. Inhale, and exhale. And if you're in the chair, you can do something similar, just using your arms, like really reaching forward as much as you can, pulling back as much as is doable. This does get into the core a little bit when you pull back, so it's a nice, gentle way for you to get a little bit of core engagement without anything too intense. Let's do one more that direction. And now we'll reverse it. So let's go to the right, forward, side, and back. You can integrate the breath. Maybe you're inhaling forward, exhale back. Think of your huge cauldron that you're trying to stir every side of that cauldron. Let's do one more that way. Good, and come on back. This time just bring your feet a little bit closer together, so now they're hip distant, and we'll finish out our circles here with a little bit of rowing the boat. So imagine you have some oars. We're going to go in both directions, but let's start by reaching over with the oars and then pulling it back any amount. Exhale, inhale, pull it back. Good, and as you're pulling back, you can just keep your gaze forward, using a little bit of core strength as you pull back. You'll notice maybe you're heating up a little bit. And let's reverse it. This time we're going to go down into the water and then pull it back. Inhale, exhale. Good. Imagining you're rowing your boat here. Let's do one more. Good. Let's come on down to the mat now, laying down, and we're going to hug the knees into the chest. Holding either side of the thighs, we'll make circles with the thighs. So we're going to bring the knees away from the hips and then out and around. So the knees are kind of going opposite directions, but coming in towards each other. And out again, getting into the hip joints. And now let's reverse it. Draw the knees in, away, and back together. Good. Noticing if one hip maybe is a little stickier than the other. Bringing some extra breath in there. And then let's hug the knees in, rock the knees side to side. And then holding the sides of the knees, finally draw a few circles with the knees. And we'll reverse it. Imagine tracing the moon with all these circles as we approach stillness. Last one. And then one leg at a time, bring your legs straight out, about the width of the mat. You're welcome to bring a pillow under your head, under your knees. Take those arms nice and wide. Closing the eyes for Shavasana. Maybe letting it all out with a big sigh. Feeling all the energy that you created with this very circular yoga practice. Observing a little more heat. Maybe a little more blood flow and circulation. A little more openness. And return your attention to your intention that we developed the first part of class. And repeat that intention to yourself 3 more times. Let it go now. Letting all effort, all striving, all control just begin to release for the next minute here. As you're ready, let's wiggle your fingers and toes, deepening the breath. We'll roll to one side, knees in towards the chest. And then slowly take your hands to the floor. Let your head droop until you are seated. And then you can take one hand to the forehead to bring your head on back. And sitting in a steady, balanced way. And allowing yourself to feel. Feeling internally how the body might have changed a bit from the beginning of our class. Feeling the breath as it's slowed down. And observing if the thoughts have shifted, perhaps they've slowed, become more spacious. And we'll bring our hands together at the heart. And I want you to share whatever your intention was for yourself. Send that as a wish or prayer for all the other migraine warriors with you here tonight, or practicing at some other time. May you, and fill in the blank for your intention. Now let's take a nice bow. Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining me, and I will be back in December. Forgot the date, but I got one more with you guys next month. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Adriane.
Thank you, everybody.
I just want to remind everyone too that in 2 weeks, we're going to have our popular art therapy practice on Thursday, November 18th. And Adriane, I wanted to just say thanks again. That was great. And I particularly liked how sometimes in yoga classes, like the left and right side, I feel like they're not given the same space. And I have a little OCD about that, I guess. And I felt like yours is perfect. So that was great.
Oh, appreciate it. And I did get a quick question from Laura of like things you can do in the chair. And yeah, even sitting in a chair. Here. And if anyone needs to go, that's fine. But you can do something similar with the knees and just kind of twisting them out and getting into the hip that way. So that's great. How many things you can do in a chair and still get a lot of yoga in.
Do you have any recommendations for people who have to drive a lot or sit a lot?
Yeah, there's, I know I have done some full out chair yoga classes with Miles for Migraine. So those are on their YouTube channel, which is an incredible resource if you haven't seen that yet, all these replays are on forever. But yeah, I always recommend to my students to really stretch out their neck as much as they can through the day, especially for folks with migraine. So even holding onto your chair and just letting one side go and bringing it forward, switching sides. I'm always doing that. So that's a good one, and all that shoulder stuff we did at the beginning of class is great too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if anyone else,
Oh,
Laura asked, what is your link?
yeah, let
I'm
me.
guessing she means the YouTube, so I'll pull that up.
Yeah, and I'll also share my Yoga for Migraine Facebook group if folks are on Facebook, because I do go live every week with something similar to this.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. Okay.
And
That way we've covered all the bases.
yeah, and like I said, there are a lot of chair yoga practices that can give you a lot of options, for if lying down on the ground is difficult or getting up and down. So I encourage you to check out the practices too, where I've kind of exclusively done chair. Okay, so I'm gonna put, thanks Elena.
Yeah, Elena says
See
those
you.
classes are great on Facebook. What time are they?
Oh, I go live every Wednesday at 11 Pacific, 2 Eastern. And then same deal, all the replays stay in the group.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Website where I share research. Oh, yeah, that would be great, Laura.
Awesome. Or feel free to put your website in the chat for everyone who wants to check it out too.
Yeah. But yeah, let me know if there's any other questions. But great to see many familiar faces. Hi, Elena. And new folks too.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Elena. Great to see you. Oh, cool. I'll check yours out, Laura.
Yep, I'm gonna check out litupbymoms.com.
And Carolyn, great to see you too. All right.
Well, thanks everyone. Good night or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Bye.